welcome back to my YouTube channel. So in today's video we're going to be talking about how to deal with weight gain in eating disorder recovery. So obviously I'm just going to give a trigger warning now that this video is going to be about eating disorders and recovery, so if you find any of that sort of stuff triggering then don't watch this. I'm not going to be mentioning numbers or anything like that, so don't worry about that. I will be sharing a couple of photos, so if you find photos triggering, don't watch it. Also, if you could be respectful in the comments and not leave anything that could be too triggering for others as well, that would be really helpful. So yeah, I'm going to talk a little bit about my journey and how I dealt with weight gain in eating disorder recovery, because there's not a lot of this out there and it is something that everyone deals with in eating disorder recovery, and eating disorders are not going away, they're getting worse, so I think it's really important to talk about this. So I'm just going to run through basically my sort of tips and what has helped me and share a little bit of my story. So as you guys know, I am training to be a life coach at the moment. I'm a qualified personal trainer and nutrition coach, so I'm quite aware of this sort of stuff and qualified in some of the sort of areas. And then also I have suffered from anorexia nervosa myself for about 5 years, and that was 13 years ago. So I have been fully recovered for about 5 years now. So that's kind of my story, and if you want to hear my full eating disorder story about all of my anorexia and everything, I will link it below. I will also link my eating disorder playlist, which has all of my eating disorder related videos, so you can see my tips for recovery, all of those sort of videos that I've done. So I'm going to get straight into it, and also if you could support me by giving the video a like if you enjoy it, and also hit that subscribe button just below if you're not subscribed already. So first of all, I have got my little notes here, by the way, so if I'm looking down, that is why. So the first thing I think is really important is to acknowledge that you're not going to be gaining weight forever. So this isn't going to be just you're going on and on and on, because I know as an anorexic or anyone with any sort of eating disorder, you think when you're gaining weight it's going to go on and on and on and on, and then when are you going to stop? It is going to stop when you get to a healthy weight, and the person who is looking after you, whether that's a doctor or a dietitian or whatever, they will know when your healthy weight is there, or your parents. I would advise you don't make that decision yourself, because your thoughts are skewed because of your eating disorder. So you will not be gaining weight forever. Remember that when you're gaining weight and you're feeling fearful or anything, you're not going to be gaining forever. Your dietitian, doctor, whoever's looking after you will not let you gain weight forever. They don't want you to be obese, so it's not going to happen. So that's my first thing to say, is to remember that you will not be gaining weight forever. Number two is you need to accept that it's okay to gain weight as part of your recovery. That's really important, because obviously the eating disorder in your head is going to be telling you it's not okay, it's going to be telling you that you're bad, it's going to be telling you all these negative things. So it's really important that you tell yourself, this is really important for my recovery, and you have to accept that and be okay with that. I know it's really hard, but you have to remember that in the long term, for you to be fully recovered, to enjoy life, to have all those things back that you miss, you're gonna have to gain weight. So accepting it is really important. So my next tip is remember the positives of gaining weight. So I'd recommend writing this down either on your phone or in a journal, and think of all the positives you're going to get from gaining weight. So some examples for me are better skin, better hair, more energy. That is a massive one. So you have way more energy to do the things that you love, to socialise, to have fun, to exercise, all of these things. You'll have way more energy. And not only that, when you're deprived of something, aka food, you will think about it all the time. So if you're watching this and struggling, you're probably thinking about food all the time. And when you've gained that weight, you won't be thinking about food as much. Promise me, it will not be a big priority in your life, apart from obviously when you're hungry, you'll think about food because you're hungry. Again, that is why we think about food when we're hungry, because we're hungry. So you'll have more time to focus your brain energy on other things, like either working, or like I said, when you're with your friends, you'll be more present to the moment and be able to enjoy those things. Maybe you'll be more creative and learn a new skill and be able to really put your mind to it, whereas at the moment all you're thinking about and obsessed about is food and exercise. So that is a massive positive of gaining weight, that you can focus your mind on other parts of your life, and obviously along with that having more energy to do those things as well. And my next tip is to remember that it's worth it. It's so worth it to gain weight. One of the big things of anorexia side effects is losing your period, and losing your period is a massive deal. People don't, I think, realise how big it is. It's really not good to be losing your period, and that is one of the things you'll get back from gaining weight and getting normal menstrual cycles, which is huge. And think of your internal health as well. So all of your organs at the moment that are really struggling, especially if you're bulimic on top of that as well, and all the insides of you that are not good, and how much healthier your insides will be, and your vital organs and your skin and all of those things, just from gaining some healthy weight. So remember, it's worth it. Another one is osteoporosis as well. Lots of people suffer from osteoporosis when they're anorexic, and if you do, unfortunately, it's irreversible. So the quicker you get out of this, the quicker you'll prevent that from happening. I was very lucky that I had a bone density scan done when I was anorexic, and luckily mine wasn't affected. But if it is, that is something that will be with you for life. Brittle bones means you'll fracture them more, break bones more easily. It's not a good thing. So that is another reason that weight gain is worth it. My next thing is, remember that it is hard. Like, I think that people think it's going to be easy, or especially others around you will expect it to be easy for you, but just remember, it is hard, and it's okay. It's okay to find it hard, and it is a weird thing to go through, because you're anorexic and then you've got your ideal weight, and you've got this horrible in-between phase where you don't look great, you're more bloated, your digestion system is getting used to eating more, you just feel more puffy and gross. And I remember that phase. It's a horrible phase to go from anorexia to healthy. But just remember that when you get to that healthy, you know, you can exercise again, you can tone that physique, you can look strong. And for any of you that follow me on Instagram, now I have a really, I mean, I don't want to be egotistical, but obviously, like, I have a good physique, which I think for myself is good. I'm fit, I'm strong. But that in-between phase when I was gaining, I didn't look like this. I had a lot more fat, I didn't have any muscle. So it takes time, and that's okay, and it's hard. So remember that it is okay for it to be hard, and you're gonna have days where it's difficult, but just keep pushing through. My next tip would be to make a list of all the reasons that it's positive for you to gain weight. So that could be that, say there's a school you want to go to, a job you want to have, maybe you want to travel, maybe you want a relationship, all of these things that you will get if you gain weight and become healthy again, and work on obviously getting rid of the eating disorder. So make a list of those and keep it somewhere where you have access to it all the time. So on your phone's a good one, and at meal times, and when you're feeling anxious about food, open this list and have a read. Now, I used to do this at every meal time when I was anorexic, and it was so good for me. I used to also use pictures of people that I wanted to look like Kelly Brook, for example, and athletes that look so strong and healthy. And I'd look at that, and then when I was scared of eating the food, because it seemed so much, for example, one of my fear foods was like avocados, I'd be like, it's okay, you know, if I eat this, all these benefits are going to happen. And there was that long list of good things that will happen. So write that list now of all those good things. And I've got a video actually on my channel of life after anorexia, and I talk about all the amazing things that recovery has brought me. So watch that video and maybe write some of those things down that you want to aspire to have. Now, my next tip is to avoid things that remind you of weight gain, because they are not helpful. So an example is scales. So I'd say get rid of scales. I threw mine away, or I told my mum to hide them somewhere I couldn't find them. You don't need them. You will either have a doctor, dietitian, psychiatrist, someone who weighs you, and if you aren't seeing anyone, then get someone else to weigh you every 2 weeks, and don't look at the number. So what I used to do is my mum would weigh me, and I wouldn't look, I'd look away, she would check it, and then she would just keep track of it. So you don't need to know what your weight is. Chuck the scales away, anything like that that's triggering. Another one is small clothes, so all your really tiny clothes, give them to charity. Obviously don't chuck them away, but give them to charity, give them to friends, and get the clothes that used to fit you before you were anorexic out and have a look at those. So don't keep things around that are not useful. If there's anything that's triggering for you, get rid of it, throw it away. You don't need it. It could be, I don't know, a recipe book that's got the calories in it. Give it away. I don't advise binning it, but give it away. Get rid of anything that's going to be triggering. With the scales, give them to a charity shop, give them to a friend, give them to your mum, someone, your boyfriend, whatever. My next tip is unfollow all triggering people and accounts on social media. You don't need them. They're not helpful and they will not help with your recovery. So anyone that, I don't know, you find triggering because they're really skinny or they're obsessed with talking about food and nutrition, just get away from that whole environment on social media. And as you unfollow, your social media will change on what they show you on your explore page. So the more you get away from those fitness and people are obsessed with like food and stuff and very skinny, they just won't come up on your newsfeed anymore. And leading on from that, then my next tip would be to follow people who are women who are inspirational to you, but not from their physique. So look for women who are maybe amazing artists, or they are astronauts, anything like that, singers, just people, or even body positive women who are a bit curvier and speak out about this sort of stuff, or people who are very real on Instagram. Follow those people because they will help with your recovery. And even my Instagram, if you follow me, if you find it triggering, I don't care, unfollow me. Follow who makes you feel good. And that is a massive one for anyone watching this who spends a lot of time on social media, and that's TikTok as well. And YouTube, all of these channels on YouTube, there's a lot of people who clearly have eating disorders, but don't say they do, and they're obsessed with like food and nutrition and all of that stuff. So unfollow those people and follow the women who are inspirational to you for other reasons, or men, or anything. Follow I don't know, David Attenborough, you know, pages like that which are really cool. Or I think there's a National Geographic has amazing, you know, pictures and stuff, and there's different industries. Even follow therapy and life coaches and things like that that will help with your recovery. So those are my main tips for weight gain in eating disorder recovery. Now obviously some eating disorders don't actually require weight gain because you can have an eating disorder and be at a stable weight, but this video is for people who are at a low weight and trying to gain weight because of their eating disorder. And I hope it was helpful. If it was, please do give the video a like. It basically helps YouTube. If you like my video or comment, it pushes it more for other people. That's how YouTube kind of works. And also don't forget to give my channel a subscribe if you haven't already. Again, this helps my channel and it push it through YouTube for other people to see. I want people to see these sort of videos. It's really, really important for eating disorder recovery. So any interaction you give to the video, comments, is really useful. And I really appreciate it. So in the description box I've got my email and website, and as I said, I'm training to be a life coach, and I am a personal trainer and nutrition coach as well. So any of you who are struggling with eating disorders and want help, I am now available to help you. So drop me an email with your situation and we'll see what we can come up with, and I'll see if I can coach you. I'm very, very excited to be able to help more people with this sort of stuff. And my social media is all below as well. And so I will see you in my next video. Bye!